Hi, it's Huart here. Hope you're doing marvelously well. And today we're going to do another in our series of arranging a song. And we're going to break down the production and the mix and the arrangement, of course, of a song by London Lawhon. And the song is called Locked Up. This is a song I tracked here at my studio, like all the rest of them. It's a live drum kit with some added stuff to it and very simple arrangement. So let's go through it. Hope you're doing marvelously well, of course, and please subscribe and go to producelikeapro.com and sign up for the email list, and you'll get lots of free goodies and competitions and all kinds of good stuff. Okay, let's check out the song. Let's start with the drums. Okay, so here we have the drums. I've just highlighted the group of the live drums. I'm going to hit Shift Option and then click on that, and that will just solo the highlighted stuff. So let's go to somewhere. Let's just go to the chorus initially and have a listen to these drums. So this is the live elements only. So that's the live drums. Now, just so you know, what I'm using here is my sample package. If you go to producelikeapro.com, you can sign up for the email list and you'll be able to download my sample package. For instance, all the snares here are all the samples that I have. Okay, so that's the live drum sound. It's pretty good. I mean, it's basically my small room in there. It's a 64 Ludwig drum kit. On the kick itself, the live kick, there's actually a limiter on it just to kind of boost it up a little bit. There is a really heavy EQ. It's just a kick on its own. Here's a flat. I actually like the flat kick sound, but I wanted something a little bit more punchy to go with the track. There is, after that, a little boost, a gain boost. And last but no means least is some API EQ, which is cutting some 400 and boosting a little 7K for the click over the top. So essentially it's just an exaggerated kick. We've got our usual array of kicks here, which again is from my sample package. There's the PR kick, which gives us all of the click and the attack. The I-1-0, which is a lot of weight, but is down in the mix. There's the warehouse kick. I'm also running Addictive. And that's being sent to the reverb, which is my fake room down here. My fake room is basically an R verb. It's a smallish room. I've got 0.65 of a second. Medium, small size room, and then the EQ, the bottom end's taken off it so it doesn't mess with the bottom end of the kick itself. And then I'm using our very well used MV2, which is kind of a parallel compressor in a box. So let's go back to live drums. That's the live drums with the addition of the Addictive kick, and then a blend with the other kicks. There's your kick. If we go to the snare samples, here is my well-known shotgun snare, which I got from Dave Jordan, and is actually an AK-47 being shot off in the desert. And there's two of them. That's the snare sample from Alice in Chains' Dirt album. And again, you can go to Produce Like a Pro and sign up for the email list and you'll get all these samples. These room tones here, this is from a band, The Gallery, I recorded at Sunset Sound. Very low. It's a combination. You can just pull it out for a second. And that's what I call the thwack trick. And when I say thwack, like a rule on the table, like a ta, ta, it's basically like using, before I had a Transient Designer or a Transient Designer plugin, I wanted to get that initial kind of pa, pa of a snare or a kick, just that you know, when a compressor works and it lets just the attack go through and then squashes everything else really heavily. So I ended up making them manually with a compressor and then laying them in by hand for years like that. I can now do that with a transient designer as well, but that's what that is. And then I've got my usual array of different wood snares and stuff here. Again, they're mixed very low, but, you know, sometimes I'm barely in. You can hear this one. The wood one's actually from Joe Perry's studio, The Boneyard. When I was making the last Aerosmith record, I took a sample of it. And I've also blended in the overheads as well, so there's a little bit more natural sound. So this is the overheads of the same snare. His studio is pretty small, but it's a great sounding little room. Okay, so you're getting the idea there. There is a duplicated overheads here, and the reason why they're duplicated is to add a little verb on them. So if I just solo that. You know, so basically I just created this blend. The thing is like, if you have my sample package, you can just lay it in and then you can blend the snares the way you like. As you can see, some of them are really super low, and you can see how I've been mixing. I just choose what I want. I lay them all in one group, just tab through, and then I can blend them any way I want. That's the drum sounds. Put the whole thing together. There's no toms in this. I didn't play any toms on this track. So there you go. That's the live drums. I just wanted to spend a little bit of time on the drums this time so you can kind of get a feel for it. So let's go back to the top of the song and check out the arrangement. Here we go.
Now you must have this twisted around, mixed up in the tiny brain of yours. But I was the one tonight. I fell for your games, and yeah, you played me. But now,
lots of effects. Okay, so that's London playing live. And then we just recorded a MIDI track. It's really quite straightforward. Okay, so this is what we used on the channel here. First one is the mini grand, set to a ballad, piano. The Kramer tape just dirtied it up just a little bit, made it a little less clean and sparkly because the mini grand is quite a clean sounding piano. And then after trashing out a little bit, there's a lot of top boost, about 5K, just to make it cut through in the track. Yeah, so that's just the bog standard mini grand plugin. And the artist London, she was 16 at the time. Great performance. She played a little piano. The bass is just me. It's really simple. It's just a DI. And that's my PV bass. The PVT40. And EQ wise, a little bit of roll off at high pass at 53 gently, not harsh, but gently, just to get out of the way of all the kicks. The MV2 again, which is kind of my best friend for a lot of things. It really keeps the bass sounding full.
you must have this twisted.
And a little L1 on the end just to catch some of those peaks. And that was all done with just a DI on the bass. Okay, so we've got drums, bass, piano. Let's move on in this section to the vocal. So this is our versed vocal.
Now you must have this twisted around, mixed up in the tiny brain of yours.
Basically, we went in there and we tuned some notes. Her performance was fantastic. I comped together what I like, and then I just sit there and tune. When I tune, if you go to my my lesson on tuning, you'll notice I work in graphical. I don't just stick a plug-in in it, and I just take like little moments that I don't like and just tune those. The reality is like I wouldn't just tune for the sake of it, because then it will just sound like T-Pain and all the other stuff that's on the radio that everybody says they hate. You know, the way I do it is I comp for performance. So I sit there and I take the performances I like, and then I just tune little parts of the phrases if I don't like it. It's really, really subtle stuff. We've always done it to one way, shape or form. You know, even on Pink Floyd records, they would slow down the tape so Dave Gilmour could get the high notes. You know, in the 80s, people would take tiny pieces of phrases and put them into a sampler like a synclavier or whatever, and then use the pitch bend wheel and bounce them back to tape. People have always done those kind of things. It's just easier now, but it's important not to overdo it. Okay, so on the actual vocal there's the Arvox.
Now you must have this twisted.
It's like it's giving us 2 dB, occasionally 3 dBs worth of gain reduction. It's then going to a vocal sub here, and on the sub is a tiny amount of EQ lift. I use the Mac DSP because I like the way it sounds. You see it's just about a dB's worth of 7K and above. I've got a de-esser on her a little bit. I've got an REQ, which is just rolling off. It's not high passing massively, but it's rolling off about just under 100 gently. Not a big slope there. I don't believe in just removing everything. I just try to control it. And then the R comp here.
Now you must have this twisted.
Very gentle. It's a ratio of 2 to 1. So basically, it's giving us
Now you must have this twisted.
occasional between 3 to 6 dBs worth of gain reduction, but bear in mind it's letting a lot go through because the ratio is only on 2 to 1. Another EQ. After the compression, some of the lows came up slightly, so just a little bit more roll off on the lows, a little bit more boost on the top. You know, it's a game for me. It's like compression, bit of EQ, compression, bit of EQ. If I go really compressed, really EQ'd, it just sounds really brittle. And, you know, but if I just play a little game of subtlety with it, it's really nice. And then running another de-esser, because even though now the vocal's a lot brighter and inherits a much bigger space, the other de-esser is going to take off some of the extra breathiness out of it. You know, she had a really breathy, incredible voice.
Now you must have this twisted around, mixed up in the.
So, but you know, even with that, we had to control the breaths just a little bit, and I actually gained some of those down. Okay, so here is our distorted slapback, the Echoplex here.
Now you must have this twisted around.
That's a distorted tape delay underneath to give it some edge. Here's the vocal thickening trick. If you go to my vocal thickening video, you can see how I do that.
Now you must have this twisted around.
What it is it's a delay, and then it's pitching -3, +3, +6, -6, -9, +9, and then it's panned hard left and hard right, and it just pushes the vocal forward. Check out the vocal thickening video and you'll see it. Okay, now there's a couple of random effects here that I chose to do. These are actually hardware effects, which you can simulate. Here's the first one here. That's basically a delay and a verb together, which I love and I do a lot. So you'll see it on some of my other videos. I've got I'm sending to like a delay, and then I'm putting a verb after it, and not the other way around. So if you reverb it and then delay, it'll just be a huge washy mess. But if you delay the signal, and you know maybe do a ping pong delay and then put verb on it afterwards, you can get a really, really great effect. And then the next one is actually a lexicon reverb, but again super, super low. I have a tendency to use a lot of different effects, but very, very low. So if you got the vocal with the effects, this is what we got.
Now you must have this twisted around, mixed up in the tiny brain of yours.
Let's go to the chorus, for instance, and you'll hear all the effects coming in super, super strong because I'm writing the effects up in the chorus where the music is more dense.
No, not anymore.
As usual, I have a bunch of different stuff. I have Echo Boy, which is a favorite plugin of mine. It's cheap tape sound there, so it's pretty trashy sounding. Going to R-comp after it because I'm using it as a dynamic delay. If you check out my delay lesson, you'll see how I do dynamic delays. There's also a trim control just to kind of push it up a little bit. Another delay here set to quarter note. The first one, as you can see, is set to eighth note. And then a third delay, which has got an eighth and a quarter note, but they're ping-ponging backwards and forwards. And then, of course, the tape slap delay, another one, which is on real tape, which came with Pro Tools.
No, not anymore.
Cool. Okay, so here we have our...
No, not anymore. I'm locking up my heart tight.
So what I've got is I've got a double that I built here. So this is a double of the lead vocal. And then these harmony tracks here are done, actually built in Melodyne. And they're just a third above.
No, not anymore. I'm locking up my heart tight, waiting for someone to treat it right. And oh, you said love was tough, but you brought me down day after day, so enough is enough.
So it sounds great. Honestly, it's vocal-wise. So that's basically giving us, you're hearing the difference between a lead and a verse vocal. So let's just listen to the end of the verse going into the chorus.
I fell for your games, and yeah, you played me. But now, not anymore. I'm locking up my heart tight.
Cool. So you've heard a lot of other stuff coming there beyond the vocal. I've got a guitar part that I did here. Little, what they've got going here is like some 250 boost, some gentle high pass. It's basically a roll off, if you like. I wouldn't call it like a traditional strong high pass. There's a boost at 7K. So it's just a little sparkliness. And then the guitar's pan to 75% to the left. And then there's a really super long reverb pan to the right. So that's my electric part. And that's a Les Paul. And then there's cello. These are all done in Logic and then imported. Viola part. And then coming up next is a violin. And these are all bussed together. The Kramer tape just to, you know, mess it up a little bit. Little low boost, not a lot going on there if I take that off. It's not adding a huge amount. Cool, so that is our...
Enough is enough. Oh, not anymore.
The only other things that were added was a really quick basic tambourine part. On the downbeat, just a crash cymbal, just to add a little drama. Even though on drums I played a crash cymbal, we still add one just to kind of give it a little bit lift. It is the first chorus. So very straightforward. As far as the bass is concerned, while we're visiting here, it's treated on the bass sub with my usual multiband compressor, where I'm compressing everything 250 and below. And what it does is just keeps all the low mids and lows really super solid and even. So even if you go up the neck, it's still got a just going the whole time. It's a great trick. There's also, you know, some top boost for definition, a little bit more top boost there. There's 100 boost here, and then it's going into the R bass. And again, little L1 just to control it. So a little limiting across the top. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. I mean, that's most of the instruments as they happen. All that really is going to happen now is things get a little bit more complicated in the string section. So let's go to our second verse. So it's featuring that because it's a re-intro and comes down because the vocal's in here. It's a short second verse with that re-intro. Let's have a listen. Let's pull stabs for some Motown.
Of me, taking what you want, forget the rest of me. And I was too blind to see I ain't too good for you, you were no good for me. But no, not anymore.
Cool. Now let's see what's different about this second chorus. Basically, the number one thing is a more developed string arrangement. Same guitar part. Great. So it's a relatively simple arrangement, and then we go to our bridge.
And somehow I was always wrong.
Little build. Great, so if you go down below to the SoundCloud link, you can listen to this song in its entirety and see a little bit of what I've done. Essentially, this track is a piano-based song, because she's a piano player, with a very, very simple building, getting more complicated, string arrangement. I mean, those are the essential things about the song, is the string arrangement allows it to grow. And she's a great singer, so it allows her to wail and really go over it. But I wanted this to have a classic kind of timeless Motown feel. The guitar is super simple, the bass line's super simple, the piano line is just driving, and it's about the singer and the song and a little bit less about the production. But please, yeah, go to the SoundCloud link and you can listen to the song. The song is also available on iTunes for those that wish to buy it. London's a great artist, and it's always great to support artists. So as ever, please subscribe. Go to the email list and sign up there, and you'll be able to get a whole bunch of free stuff to download, and obviously our competitions, etc. And please leave some comments. I love having production conversations. I love answering questions if there's questions about how I recorded this. And of course, once more, you can download the free drum sample package that I'm using here if you sign up for the email list. Okay, thanks ever so much for watching. I really appreciate it.